Hey everybody, welcome back to the LuckyDog podcast. This is your host, Elias Roush. This podcast is sponsored by EliasRoushMedia.com, photo, video, digital media production. Today we're discussing Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is a 2022 action adventure comedy film based on the video game franchise published by Sega. It is the sequel to Sonic the Hedgehog 2020. Same director, Jeff Fowler. Uh, Written by Pat Casey, Josh Miller, and John Whittington. It stars Ben Schwartz reprising his role as the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, alongside James Marston, Tika Sumpter, Natasha Rothwell, Adam Pawley, Shamir Moore, Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Lee Majib, Idris Elba, and Jim Carrey. The film follows Sonic and Tails teaming up to find the Master Emerald before Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles can do so. Following the success of the first film, Paramount Pictures announced the sequel in May 2020. Filming took place from March to June 2021 in Vancouver and Hawaii. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was released. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was first theatrically released in several international markets starting in March 30th, 2022, and is scheduled to release in the United States on April 8th by Paramount Pictures in association with Sega Sammy Group. The film received mixed reviews from critics. A third film and a spin-off series focusing on Knuckles are in development, and I believe that Idris Elba is going to reprise his role as Knuckles. So the majority of the technicals, the behind the scenes, are very much the same as the first movie. Bringing back most of the same guys. Um, I thought that with a budget of 110 million, that the running time 122 minutes, so not terribly too long, but just hanging right over that little threshold, probably could have been trimmed down. The biggest thing I noticed about Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the fact that um, it's not that bad. I mean, a lot of people have you know not so great things to say about uh, video game adaptations to movies and stuff like that. But overall, I thought it was a fun sequel to the franchise. A tad longer than I would probably normally want. I think they could probably shave about 15 minutes off of the dance sequences and whatnot like that. But it is kind of like your typical sequel with a slightly bigger scaled. More jokes coming at you a million miles an hour. Jim Carrey still seems to be the predominant force, the predominant driving force in the movie. And honestly, it does make me want to, play a little bit of Sonic the Hedgehog. There was parts of it that, really evoked the game. Now, not being, I don't want to say a quote unquote nerd, but a big Sonic the Hedgehog movie, or sorry, big Sonic guy. The most I know about Sonic is really what I've seen in Super Smash Brothers. I think he was in Super Smash Brothers Brawl, and that's where I gained most of my quote unquote notoriety of understanding, what Sonic really was all about. And basically he wants to go fast. So what's up with this movie? This movie is, the standard action adventure, but it also has like a splash of like a little bit of a romantic comedy. I mean, the first movie really focused on Sonic and James Marston coming together and, kind of being buddy buddy, tag teaming along. This one evolves into more of the diverging of the two stories and plot lines, so you have the Sonic story and the Dr. Robotnik kind of coming into that story. And then James Marston and his and his I think it's his fiance are basically off on their own honeymoon type vacation getaway. It's not their honeymoon, but they're going to a wedding. I believe it's in Hawaii or something like that. And to be honest, it does feel like it integrates pretty well. But I mean, the two storylines are basically apples and oranges. Not in a bad way, just something that I noticed that this movie definitely feels like they're trying to gear towards the young adult audience, and they're also with all the modern references and well, here comes the Winter Soldier kind of thing. It's in the trailer, the references to a lot of Disney stuff, honestly. And um and then we have the quote unquote wedding aspect, the romantic comedy aspect of it, that I think is going to appeal a little bit more to the adults. So there's a little bit of something for everybody when it comes to the movie. Okay, it's Tika Sumpter's places. Either I think it's his fiance. Um, and my goodness, she's one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. Um, so anything else we need to discuss about this movie before we kind of go into spoilers? I mean, like I said, the pros, it's I think it's definitely an improvement upon the first movie. The first one heavily relied on James Marston, I felt like, and then the craziness and zaniness of Jim Carrey. I really loved how just off the wall he was. He was going almost full Riddler at that point. Um, but I do got to say that the first one was fine. This one is a little bit better. I think they improved in ways that would benefit going to see this if you were interested in it, or if your kids were interested in seeing it or something like that. Um, but yeah, I overall enjoyed it. I'd probably give it about a 7 out of 10, just because I think I get probably give the first one a 6 out of 10. I don't have it off the top of my head, but um, probably a 7 out of 10, just because it feels like a slightly it goes by the Marvel formula, of you got the modern day references, some of the jokes, then it all culminates into traveling across the globe trotting a little bit, and then eventually ending up in kind of a big CGI battle at the end. I felt like this is of the Marvel formula. As a matter of fact, I think Sega has a a logo intro, like the production intro, is very similar to the Marvel intro, which with regards they would have all of the different characters kind of leading up into making the logo of Sega, or for Marvel's case, it was all of the characters in the comic book uh, would fall into making their logo of Marvel. It's very similar in style. And so yeah, I enjoyed what I saw. Like I said, I think it probably could have been shaved about 15 minutes, but I think that's pretty much my only criticism about it. I Yeah, it's not like offensively bad at all in any way. The other adaptations, such as even the earlier one, I felt like the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, they just wanted to have like James Marston and Sonic together, so they're going like a road trip, and it didn't really make 100% sense, because I mean, why does Sonic even need to be in a car at all? It's all about going fast. And so they have like a lot of interesting references with regards to um, the Sonic movie, and modern day references as well. Um, they have some Fortnite jokes and flossing and all that for the kids, which I think is going to probably date the movie, but it's completely fine. It doesn't really do anything to take away from it 100%. There's a lot of probably quote unquote ad libbing to it. Just put the camera on Jim Carrey and let him do something crazy or stupid or funny or whatever. Can't complain about that, because that's basically his job uh, in a lot of movies. But he's really good at it. So, with saying that, let's see what else we got. Anything else? Anything else? Yeah, I thought it was completely fine. The CGI looked like a probably something out of like X-Men or something like that. It would have been a little bit more impressive to see this a couple years ago, but it's like, well, this is still pretty cool. They got a hell of a budget for the special effects on this one. Ben Schwartz continues to kind of impress me as a comedian. I was kind of in the dark about Ben Schwartz before. What was that show he's in on Netflix? Real quick, let me see. Ben Schwartz. So let me see his filmography real quick. Yeah, so I didn't recognize him in The Other Guys. He was on the movie Turbo. He was in The Interview. He was in The Walk, The Force Awakens as the voice. Um, Let me see if there's anything else. The Lego Movie too. Let me see. And then he came in as Sonic the Hedgehog voice during 2020. Trying to figure out when he was playing. Oh, so he's done some television as well. So that's where I think I've missed him. He was on the Sarah Silverman uh, program, Parks and Recreation for 22 episodes, uh, Tron Uprising, Bob's Burgers, a couple episodes, Robot Chicken, BoJack Horseman, The Simpsons. He's done a lot of notable. Um, he's done a lot of notable TV, and Space Force was the one that he had kind of a longer run on. He was on the main cast of that show, and I believe he's probably returning for Space Force season 2 as well. So yeah, he's on that Modoc show. I think that's on Hulu. A little bit of Rugrats, like After Party, the After Party that's on Apple TV. There's a lot of stuff that this guy's been on. I've been pretty impressed with his filmography. So he's definitely got a lot of accolades under his belt at this point, and I don't have to go through Jim Carrey's, um, you know, accolades or his filmography or anything like that. Jim Carrey from Ace Ventura, from Eternal Sunshine, to obviously Sonic. What do we got? He played the Riddler. The dude's a really bankable actor, and I think it was around the mid '90s that he started charging about $25 million per movie role, I believe, and he wouldn't accept anything less than that. So this dude is probably stacking and racking. So that's a little bit of behind the scenes on some of the most interesting parts of the movie. James Marshton, he's been in a ton of things as well. I don't really have to go through his full accolades, as anything from Straw Dogs, the remake, to X-Men, to Sonic the Hedgehog. Now he's uh, he's an actor that you can put in almost anything that he's going to do the most with the role. I don't think I've ever seen anything that James Marsden has been in, and I was just like, no, this is not the role for him. Like almost every time I can think off the top of my head that he's really done the most with the role. And honestly, he was one of the most interesting parts of the first movie. So let's hop into the spoiler section, and I appreciate everyone listening and watching the LuckyDog podcast. The full review will be available to patreon.com/LuckyDog podcast. You can sign up for 3 different tiers, but all of the tiers help us keep the lights on and booming at the LuckyDog podcast. I did want to give a quick little shout out to, I think it was a couple of, where was this? The Insights. My podcast seemed to really be slapping last week with over 3,000 plays, 3,500 plays, most of them coming from Boardman, Seattle, I believe, as well as Charlotte, North Carolina, and Huntington Beach, which I believe is in California, but don't take my word for it. But I appreciate all the support we're getting from around the world. And Ho Chi Minh City, which is I think that is in China as well. So I just want to give a quick little shout out to everybody that's been listening and watching Look It Up podcast. Remember, you can watch and listen either on YouTube, you can listen on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. There are tons of different podcast players that provide Look It Out podcast. Lucky Dog is one word, by the way, when you're researching us. So, thank you for listening, watching Look It Out podcast. Be sure to check out the links in the description. And here is the spoiler section for Sonic the Hedgehog 2.